Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Christy Van and I am with Vantastic Finances, and on this channel I teach velocity banking. So do you know the questions to ask when you go to apply for that line of credit or that HELOC? So let's answer that question today. Just remember that the underwriting guidelines are continually changing, so it's important that we do inquire before we apply to any bank or any credit union so that we are aware that we may not be approved based on the answers that we get. So some questions you could ask are things like, where do you pull the credit reports? Is it going to be Equifax, TransUnion, Experian? Do they pull FICO scores or maybe Vantage scores? What is the minimum credit score required to obtain the line of credit? If you have a previous bankruptcy, you would certainly want to ask if you could be approved based upon that. Some banks or credit unions may approve with a previous bankruptcy, but it may have to be a couple of years out. Proof of income. What documentation are you going to need to provide? Would it just be W-2s, or are they going to require tax returns from previous years? Some may go as far as to ask your employer to fill out a form. So there could be several requirements proving your income. So you would definitely want to know that in advance. And of course, is a checking or savings account required? Every bank that I have dealt with or my clients have dealt with, they do require you to open a savings account before they will even allow you to apply for that line of credit. So that is a very important question. Another thing is, if you are looking for a bank outside of your state, you would ask them if out-of-state applicants can even apply. Is the line secured or unsecured? Now, of course, if it's a HELOC, it is going to be secured by your home equity. Other lines of credit may be secured, so you would need to know that in advance. One really important question that we need to know when it comes to velocity banking is, are there transfer fees? Do you have a limited amount of transfers that you can make in a month? Due to we are doing velocity banking, you would certainly want to know about fees that may be associated with this line of credit. Is there a fee associated every time you take a withdrawal? How many withdrawals can you take in a month? With velocity banking, we are going to be taking quite a few withdrawals because you leave that paycheck sitting in that account until you need it, right? Then you pull a cash out for whatever you need cash for. The point is to leave your paycheck sitting in the account so that it is decreasing the balance of that account. Therefore, it's drawing less interest charges. Is there a minimum for each transaction? And on some HELOCs, they will ask that you take a $20,000 upfront withdrawal. Now, we can take that withdrawal, but you can also put that right back. So I had that with my own HELOC. I had to take a $20,000 withdrawal as part of my requirement to be approved for the loan. So of course I took the $20,000. I withdrew it out. Then I turned around in a few days, and in increments I started putting it back in. Therefore, I didn't pay hardly any interest charges because of the way I put the money back. Of course, you would want to know what credit limit you're looking at. What is the common amount of credit that's usually approved? What is the typical interest rate? You would certainly want to know that because they may determine the interest rate based upon your credit score. So you would want to know what the interest rate is going to be on the line of credit. Are there any other fees associated with this line of credit, such as closing costs, appraisal fees, application fees, annual fees? You need to ask a lot of questions about those fees because we are in the business of saving money and leaving it in our account, keeping the balance low, keeping the interest charges even lower. That's the point of velocity banking, so that we can get out of debt very, very quickly. For a HELOC, you would want to know what the max LTV loan to value ratio is. Some allow 80% loan to value, meaning the max amount could be 80% of your appraised value. With a first lien HELOC, it can be up to 90% of the appraised value based on your credit score being over 700. What is the max DTI allowed? The DTI is the debt to income ratio. So you would definitely need to know the ratio so that you can determine if you could even get approved for that line of credit. And you would want to know what the normal means for accessing the funds would be. Meaning, is it a card, check, online transfers, overdraft protection? There's all kinds of questions to ask. The reason we ask this is if you know by asking the questions that you could not possibly be approved, then you would certainly not want to apply at that bank, due to you don't want a bunch of inquiries on your credit report. Why don't we want inquiries on our credit report? We know that if we get like 10 inquiries in a year, that will hurt our credit score. But another reason that we don't want inquiries on our report is if you have 4, 5, 6 inquiries on your report, and then you get a bank that's really looking at you, and the underwriters see that you have all of these inquiries on your report, that's going to raise a red flag, because they're going to think that you've already been approved for loans that's not showing on your credit report yet. When you have multiple inquiries, they question that. So when you go in to a credit union or a bank and you ask these questions, then you will know up front if you should even apply or if you even want that line of credit. So remember, ask questions. That's how we know what line of credit is going to be just right for you. We want you to get approved. You will get approved. It's a matter of time. There's a good chance you're going to be declined sometimes. That's just part of the game. Don't get discouraged. Just keep looking, keep asking questions, and make sure that they're offering what you are going to need before you even apply. Make those banks work for you. And if they don't offer what you want, then get away from them and go to another bank. Go to a credit union. Go somewhere that's going to serve you in your debt elimination process. And remember, I make suggestions. You make decisions. Thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you all have a terrific week, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.